Hello, this is David D. Hilster. I've been on a little break, but I'm back and I'm a critical thinker, science dissident, and I'm here to tell you the truth about science. Something your university professor won't tell you, the mass media won't tell you, and certainly those science evangelists won't tell you. And guess what? Today is my real first talk about one of these science evangelists. Many people admire him and love him. His name is Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'm not the biggest fan of Neil's for numbers of reasons. One, because he is certainly not a critical thinker. He is a status quo pusher to the max. We're going to watch this little video where he's asked, will Einstein's theory of relativity ever be disproven? It isn't even the case whether or not you have to. You don't have to turn this off if you think I'm just going to tell you how Einstein is wrong. You know what? I'm not even worried about that. But the arguments people make today show you that today's mainstream science is a religion and not a science. If this were a debate class and Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson were being graded on this 2-minute little discourse he has, he would fail miserably in any debate class around the globe. And we're going to find out why. Let's take a listen to this right now.
Last one for you is from Hugh. Hugh wants to know, could I please ask Dr. Tyson when and if Einstein's theory of relativity will be fully discredited?
It will never be discredited because it works. It's not how theories, you have to understand what it means for something to be a theory. There's a lot of misunderstanding about that. If you have a new idea and you want to test it, that's a hypothesis. If there's countless objects and phenomena out there that have conduct or behavior that can be brought under one umbrella of understanding, and that umbrella of understanding allows you to make predictions that are then shown to be true, then you have a theory. This is what gives you quantum theory and relativity theory and the theory of evolution, and you get all of this. In an earlier day, we didn't call them theories, we called them laws. But it's the same thing, okay? Same thing.
Sure.
So if Einstein's theory is ever shown to be wrong, it will not be wrong in any regime in which it has already been tested. It would have to be a regime at the extreme limits of how it applies in the universe. And one example of that would be the center of a black hole. We know now that general relativity fails at the center of a black hole. We know in advance of that. We know that general relativity fails at the instant of the Big Bang. This is largely the effort of string theorists to try to come to terms with what those very special states of matter and very special times in the history of the cosmos. It won't be proven wrong because it's already been shown right. And if we find a new idea that takes it to those edges, that'll.
I really have to listen to that statement again. This is where, if you were Mr. deGrasse Tyson, Neil, this is a very complicated name, you would fail miserably. Let's listen to what he says right here logically. This is pretty amazing.
So it won't be proven wrong because it's already been shown right. And if we find a new idea that takes it to those edges, that'll be a larger circle that we draw around relativity, but what's inside the circle of relativity will remain intact. That's what it means to be experimentally verified.
All right, so in short, Hugh should probably not hold his breath for this one to happen.
Exactly.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, Space Chronicles, Facing the Ultimate.
Okay, where do we start? I want you to listen to this last part of it first. We'll talk about the details, but I want you to listen to this last part, what he says.
It won't be proven wrong because it's already been shown right.
It won't be proven wrong because it's already been shown proven right. Let me give you a real simple fact in science. Nothing can be proved right. Nothing. You can show something works very well and is repeatable, but it can't be proven right. There's no such thing.
Times in the history of the cosmos. It won't be proven wrong because it's already been shown right.
Okay, he says shown. But shown right can be proven wrong, can be proven right, can be shown right. Again, that's a fallacious concept. Einstein himself was quoted, whether it was him or not, that 1,000 experiments can show me right, but it only takes one to prove me wrong. This gets to a fact. There's so many things going on here. Number one, for Neil deGrasse Tyson to be a true scientist, which he is not, he would have to say, like anyone, that no theory is proven right, ever. That the best we can do is cobble together some ideas and what we say are laws of the universe or assumptions of the universe and go on them. The idea that it will always be right is an arrogant one. This is where science is today. Neil deGrasse is an arrogant person. He refuses to look at alternatives. His embodiment, his life is to show we stupid people who are not astrophysicists how the universe works. That's what he is doing. And he does it over and over every time he's confronted with relativity being wrong. He says it's been proven right. No, it isn't. Special relativity is shown wrong every day in particle accelerators. Every day. There is no mass increase observed. General relativity is supposed to show light being bent by space-time, which we have no idea or no physicality for. It's just a complete and utter invention. Yet outside of coronas of the sun, where it should be bending, it doesn't bend. Why do we know that? Because we have people like scientists like Dr. Edward Dowdy from NASA, retired from NASA. He knows this. It's a fact. Yet we don't talk about that. And this comes to another problem in physics, and that is today's physicists, what I call 20th century physics, because we're into the 21st century, and hopefully this will end in our lifetimes or in this century, and that is somehow the universe has these golden laws and rules. He said that they're laws or theories, but these things that we find. And once we find them, they're right. I am sure if you ask Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, if we met an extraterrestrial being or beings or civilization, that they too would have discovered the same laws, which he didn't call laws. Again, forget about his jargon. His jargon's all off. He's all off. He doesn't think about the words he uses, just like mainstream physics. But the idea is that he would think that all the advanced civilizations around the universe would all have relativity. Probably not, hardly any of them. It's a really bizarre idea, and it's wrong from a million points of view. What he is talking about, that relativity, and this is one of the things that happens, I'm going to probably do a talk just on this, but he's talking about, well, relativity is the same as Newtonia. It's just when you get close to the speed of light, it changes. Well, it changes, and it's not observed, but it's really amazing. So that he's saying on the frontiers that the basic stuff is right, but over here and over here, like in the middle of a black hole, over here in the Big Bang, well, the Big Bang didn't happen. So how far you have to go to even start to even try to untangle that knot? And then black holes at the very center of it. No, that's mathematics that created it, not the reality of anything. We know there are very dense objects, but we have to get physical models to try to find what those things are, not invent them and then pretend that general relativity fails there. It's already failing. It's just an arrogance, the arrogance of Neil deGrasse Tyson and the other physics evangelists. Some of them are a little bit better because they will say, they should all be saying that all of this can be wrong. All of it. Relativity, even Newton, anything. It all can be wrong. This is ridiculous. This arrogance has to stop. The idea that, oh, string theory. Strings were invented. The original inventors, who call themselves inventors of the string theory, are crying and bemoaning. I saw an article in the LA Times when I lived in LA, probably 15, 20 years ago. I saw it. These people say they cannot believe people are actually treating string theory as real. And he talks about it. Why? Because he wants to be really smart. He wants to be, he's like some gigantic head that will answer all the questions to you little underlings who understand nothing. Stop it already. This isn't the last video I'm going to make about Mr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is an ego trip of epic proportions. So I'm sorry if I burst your bubble, if you get all these things and talk about science. Science is as good as engineering, and that's as best as it gets. It isn't a fantasy world. It isn't this thing of, you know, quarks and strings and oh, relativity. You can't understand. You got to go to college to understand. No, you got to go to college to get indoctrinated so that you can get over your critical thinking. Because the moment you do critical thinking, you're thrown out. So, as always, what I always tell you, don't take what anyone says on faith, especially science evangelists. I call him a science evangelist. He is not a scientist. He is not a critical thinker. You don't say what he says. Every engineer, every person will always tell you, this is right forever. Never. You can't say that. But he says it. How many times? It can't be wrong because it's proven right. It's been shown right. This is something that is wrong. Einstein says opposite of what Mr. deGrasse says. It's enough. Don't take his word for it. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself, please. Stay critical. Stay thinking. I'm Dave D. Hilster, your science therapist. Boy, we've got a lot of sessions ahead of us. Ciao for now.